Are you ready to dive into the unknown and explore the edges of reality? Join us on a thrilling journey through 3 extraordinary tales that will challenge your beliefs and ignite your curiosity. First, venture into the chilling corridors of an abandoned hospital with Sarah, a skeptic who encounters a ghostly presence that reveals a shocking connection to her past. Uncover the secrets and revelations that forever change her understanding of the world. Next, experience a haunting encounter with a mysterious shadow entity in a quiet car wash late at night. Feel the intensity of the moment as the figure reveals an otherworldly communication, leaving behind an enigmatic artifact that defies explanation. Finally, join a nature enthusiast and Eagle Scout as they face an inexplicable, shadowy presence in the woods. This encounter transcends the ordinary, offering a glimpse into a realm that blurs the lines between the natural and the supernatural. Subscribe to our channel for these mesmerizing stories and more, where each video peels back the veil of the ordinary, leading you into the heart of the extraordinary. Don't miss out on these gripping narratives that will leave you questioning the reality as you know it. Hit that notification bell to stay updated. Welcome to Creepy Diaries. Are you ready to step into the mystery? Let's get started. My name is Sarah. I'm a skeptic by nature, one who prefers to trust in concrete and tangible facts rather than the shadowy stories that inhabit people's imaginations. However, there are moments in life when we are challenged to confront our deepest convictions, and that's exactly what happened to me on that fateful night when I decided to explore the old abandoned hospital in town. Since I was young, I was raised amidst whispers and legends about the old hospital. It was a sinister place, encased in shadows and surrounded by an aura of mystery that captivated everyone's imagination. Locals spoke in whispers about the empty corridors, where echoes of past patients' moans still reverberated, as if pleading for justice or redemption. These stories intrigued me, but they also frightened me. However, curiosity is a powerful force, capable of leading us to places we never imagined stepping foot in. And it was that same curiosity that led me to defy the warnings and step through the rusted gates of the old hospital on that dark night. I didn't know what to expect, but something inside me longed to uncover the hidden secrets behind those decrepit walls. Little did I know that this decision would forever change my understanding of the world and thrust me into a journey of discovery and terror beyond imagination. That's how my story begins, a tale of feigned courage and hidden fears, of ancient mysteries and lost souls. A story that began in that old hospital and would change my life forever. As I ventured into the dark corridors of the old hospital, I was engulfed by a sense of oppression, as if the building itself exhaled an air of despair and sadness. As I cautiously made my way through the dusty corridors, sounds echoed around me, creating a macabre symphony of creaks and whispers. That's when I began to witness the atrocities of the ghost haunting that place. Shadows danced on the walls, contorting into grotesque and indistinct forms. The air was thick with the smell of mildew and desolation, as if the very foundations of the building were rotting under the weight of time. As I ventured deeper into the recesses of the hospital, the sinister events intensified. Doors slammed shut abruptly, as if guided by an invisible hand, while moans echoed through the empty corridors. Lights flickered and failed, plunging the spaces into suffocating darkness. But it was when I came face to face with the ghost itself that I understood the true extent of its atrocities. Its presence was like a dense shadow, a fog that obscured my vision and chilled my blood in my veins. Its empty eyes glowed with a ghostly light, as if carrying the weight of countless lost lives. It didn't speak, but its anguish was palpable, a silent echo of pain and suffering that reverberated through the hospital corridors. Each step seemed to resonate in the soul of the building, awakening dormant specters that inhabited that place of forgetfulness and despair. And so, as I witnessed the ghost's atrocities, I realized that it was not just a figure from the past, but a dark reflection of the injustices that plagued that place. Its tormented spirit was a vivid reminder of the tragedies that had occurred there, an eternal echo of lost souls clamoring for redemption. But the worst was yet to come, for as I approached the truth behind the ghost's origins, I discovered that its atrocities were intricately linked to my own past, a revelation that would shake my convictions and forever change the course of my journey in the old abandoned hospital. As I confronted the ghost's atrocities and delved deeper into the bowels of the old hospital, I was about to make a discovery that would shake my convictions and change my understanding of the world forever. In the somber silence of that abandoned room, before the crouched specter that had revealed itself as my maternal grandfather, the cruel truth unfolded before me. His pale and anguished face was a vivid reminder of the stories of my childhood, now transformed into a terrifying reality. He, the ghost haunting the old hospital and terrorizing the town, was indeed a lost soul seeking redemption, a victim of the atrocities that had occurred in that dark place. The truth came to light like a lightning bolt, illuminating the darkest corners of my mind. My grandfather, a war hero whose bravery and sacrifice had been forgotten by time, had met his brutal end in the corridors of the hospital now surrounding me. The revelation was a blow to the heart, an open wound bleeding memories and secrets buried in the past. As I bid farewell to his tormented spirit, I promised myself that his story would not be forgotten, that his memory would live on forever through the words and hearts of those who loved him. With that promise, I left behind the old hospital and the shadows of the past, carrying with me not only the weight of its memories, but also the determination to uncover the truth behind his death and honor my grandfather's legacy with justice and redemption. And as the sun rose on the horizon and dissipated the shadows of the past, I departed from the hospital, transformed by my journey of discovery and terror. And though the wounds of the past may never be fully healed, I know that my grandfather's love and memory will live on forever in my heart, guiding me towards a future of hope and redemption. The terrible discovery. In uncovering the origin of the ghost haunting the old hospital, I found a dark connection intertwined with my grandfather's own death, revealing a web of mysteries and secrets that had been hidden for decades. As I delved deeper into the ghost's origins, I discovered old reports of disturbing events that had occurred in the hospital during the war years. Among the dusty records and silenced testimonies, I found mentions of violent and inexplicable incidents that had claimed the lives of many patients and healthcare professionals. That's when I found a name echoing through the yellowed pages of the ancient files. My grandfather's name. The evidence pointed to a terrible truth, a truth that had been concealed for years under a veil of silence and denial. I discovered that my grandfather, a dedicated doctor and a decorated war hero, had been brutally murdered within the hospital's walls. His death had been covered up by a curtain of lies and deceit, leaving behind only unanswered questions and shadows of suspicion. The connection between the ghost's origin and my grandfather's death became clear to me. His tormented spirit wandered the hospital corridors in search of justice and redemption, calling out for a truth that had been denied to him in life. The discovery of this dark link between the past and the present shed new light on the events that had haunted my family for generations. Not only had I found the origin of the ghost, but I had also uncovered the dark secrets that had led to my grandfather's death, a man whose courage and sacrifice would never be forgotten. With this revelation, a new journey began for me, a journey in search of justice and truth, a journey that would honor my grandfather's legacy and bring peace to his tormented spirit. And as I faced the challenges that lay ahead, I knew I was not alone, for he, my grandfather, would always be by my side, guiding me through the shadows towards the light. Let's go back to 1995. I was 13 and living in a small coastal town in Oregon. One night, something extraordinary and frightening happened. I dreamt I was in a forest near our house, a place I often played, but in the dream, it was menacing. A school bully, notorious in my waking life, appeared and threw a rock at me. The pain was shockingly real, jolting me awake. But what woke me wasn't just a dream, it was a sharp physical pain in my arm. As I sat up in bed, heart racing, I saw a figure, shrouded in darkness, standing at the foot of my bed. It was like a shadow come to life, with hollow eyes and a presence that felt both ancient and terrifying. It was twisting something in its hands, a dark, shimmering cloth that seemed to absorb the light around it. I was petrified, unable to move or scream. My room, usually familiar and safe, felt foreign and oppressive. The figure didn't speak, but its gaze pierced me, and I could feel its anger, or perhaps its sorrow. I remembered my father's old tales of a local legend, a shadowy spirit said to haunt the woods near our home. He had always dismissed it as folklore, but in that moment, I wasn't so sure. As the paralysis lifted, I reached under my pillow where I kept a flashlight, a habit I developed after reading adventure novels. The moment I turned it on, the figure recoiled as if struck, and then, with a sound like a sigh, it dissolved into a cloud of shadows. The next day, I found a bruise on my arm, exactly where I'd been hit in the dream. It was a chilling confirmation that what I experienced was no ordinary nightmare. Years passed without another encounter. I moved away, started a family, and the memory faded into a spooky story I occasionally shared. But recently, my son, who's now 7 and quite imaginative, began talking about his shadow friend in the forest behind our new house. He described it with unnerving accuracy. A dark figure that whispers from the trees. He isn't scared of it, he says it's lonely and just wants to play. Then, last week, something changed. My son woke up screaming one night, terrified, saying the shadow had tried to take him away. He had a mark on his arm, eerily similar to the one I had years ago. I knew then that this was more than a child's imagination. It was the same entity, and now it was after my son. Determined to protect my family, I did some research and stumbled upon an old local legend about a spirit bound to the forest, cursed to wander and seek companionship, often luring in the unsuspecting with a sense of curiosity and fear. Armed with this knowledge, I went to the forest, to the very spot my son described. There, I called out to the spirit, offering my own company in exchange for my son's safety. To my astonishment, the shadow appeared, its form wavering like smoke. In a voice like rustling leaves, it accepted, but with a condition. I had to listen to its tale. It spoke of a time long ago, of betrayal and a curse that bound it to these woods. It was a tale of sorrow, not malevolence. As dawn approached, the shadow seemed to lessen, its form becoming less threatening. I made a promise to return, to listen and learn. In return, it vowed to never harm my family again. Since that night, my son has slept peacefully, and the shadow hasn't reappeared to him. I continue to visit the forest, keeping my promise. Each visit unravels more of the spirit story, a tale of a time long forgotten. In sharing its history, I found a strange kind of friendship with this shadowy entity. It's a reminder of the mysteries that linger in the corners of our world, often misunderstood and feared. This experience has not only brought peace to my family, but has also connected me with a past that once seemed like mere folklore. Now, it's a part of my reality, a chapter in the ongoing story of my life. Growing up with a deep connection to nature, I've always been drawn to the great outdoors. My life was filled with activities like rock climbing, deep-sea diving, and cross-country trekking. I had also earned the title of Eagle Scout, a testament to my outdoor skills and love for adventure. This particular incident happened about 20 years ago, in a remote part of northern Florida, a place that had always felt like a second home to me. I was working night shifts at that time, often clocking in 12 hours each night. This routine had been my life for almost a year. On that fateful night, after my shift, I decided to wash my prized '69 Chevy Camaro at a rarely frequented car wash nestled on the outskirts of a small town. It was around 2 a.m. and the area was deserted, save for the occasional passing car on the nearby main road. As I pulled into the car wash, I parked my Camaro with its front facing the road, the rear towards the open car wash bays. I started cleaning the interior, the drone of the vacuum machine filling the air. Suddenly, a chilling sensation crept over me, the unmistakable feeling of being watched. Turning around, I faced one of the car wash bays. The scene was surreal: 3 bays, each separated by cinder block walls, and an eerie silence that hung in the air. The bay behind me had a peculiar aura, as if it were a gateway to something unknown. Hovering in the middle of this bay was a figure. It wasn't standing, but suspended in air, about 2 feet off the ground. The figure was roughly 7 feet tall, humanoid in shape, but made entirely of shadow. It resembled a tall person, but its form was unbroken, without any distinct features, just a silhouette, edged with a strange, static-like fuzz. I stood there, frozen, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. The entity exuded a calm energy, its presence more curious than threatening. Despite my initial fear, I felt a strange sense of calm wash over me. It was as if the entity was familiar with me, perhaps even protective in some way. Then, something extraordinary happened. The shadowy figure began to change shape, morphing into various forms, animals, symbols, and at one point, what looked like an ancient script. I couldn't understand the meaning, but it felt like a communication, a message intended just for me. A sudden sound snapped me back to reality, the distant hoot of an owl. Looking back at the bay, the entity had vanished. But on the ground, where it hovered, was a small, intricately carved stone, glimmering in the faint light. I picked up the stone, feeling a surge of energy run through me. It was warm to the touch, almost pulsating with life. I knew then that this wasn't just a random encounter. It was a meeting meant to happen, a connection to something ancient and powerful. Since that night, I've returned to the car wash several times, hoping to encounter the entity again. But it never reappeared. The stone, however, has remained with me, a constant reminder of that mysterious night. I often wonder about the message the entity tried to convey, and why it chose me. While I never found the answers, that encounter changed my perspective on life and the mysteries it holds. It's a story I've shared only with a select few, a story that continues to intrigue and inspire me to this day. And that's a wrap. Bet some of those moments really gave you the chills, huh? Now, if you're drawn to the allure of the unknown and want to keep diving into the mysteries of the paranormal, I've got great news for you. Right here on our channel, we've got even more stories that'll challenge how you see reality and might just send a shiver down your spine. So, don't stop now. Click on one of the 2 videos popping up on your screen to dive even deeper into tales of suspense and unexplainable phenomena. I'll be waiting for you there to keep this journey going together. Remember to hit subscribe, turn on those notifications, and of course, if you liked what you saw, drop us a like and leave a comment. Catch you next time.